And we are now live.
Yeah.
We are live now. That's good. All right. Well, welcome everybody to a Wednesday evening chit chat with Colby Roy and Johnny Quinn. Those of you who don't know me, which there's probably only a couple, my name is George Bruno. This is my YouTube channel, and I like broadcasting shows that benefit people, particularly men. And I know the ladies that join in will enjoy what we have going on here tonight. So it's going to be a conversation between three gentlemen. And we have, you know what, rather than me trying to introduce everybody, I will just have them introduce themselves. So go for it. Colby, go ahead.
Oh, all right, man. Sounds good. I am Colby Roy. I have a YouTube channel called Relevant Interviews with Colby Roy. I actually do a lot of men's content, and that's what I initially started out doing on YouTube. I've kind of channeled my inner history geek, though, recently. Started doing a lot of mob history stuff, so I'm interviewing some ex-mob figures and very interesting things like that. I'm also writing a book that's very pro men's rights. I'm still very passionate about that stuff. So that content's not going away. I'm going to continue to have really good content as far as that goes on my channel. But and just in general, I'm passionate about men's rights, working with men and mentoring younger men. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight, and go and check out my channel and subscribe if you're interested. Johnny, go ahead, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Johnny Quinn here. I'm a guest here on the show tonight, and honored to be here. Just got quite a story, my life history. In a wheelchair now from a motorcycle accident back in '98, where I almost lost my life. And you know, after giving a 10% chance to live, and just learning how to readapt and live life all over again, you know, I've been doing pretty well for myself, and you know, I'm just trying to make the best of, you know, what God, you know, gave me here, and just trying to get out and share my story with everybody. Just trying, you know, give a little bit of hope to people out there in the world that they could use it. I know all the crazy stuff going on. The world's a crazy place these days, and you know, there's not many positive things that you see on TV or anything like that. So, you know, I just hope to get out there, share my story, and, you know, if I can make a difference in somebody's life, one person's life, and, you know, just kind of be an example of just, you know, life is a gift, and, you know, don't take it for granted here. And I'm just doing the best to make the most of it. And hopefully I can inspire, motivate people to want to better their lives also, no matter, you know, what kind of situation they're going through. But, you know, when you think it's over, man, you just keep pushing forward and never giving up. And, you know, you'd be amazed that, you know, time goes by and you look back and see what you accomplished. It's pretty cool. And, you know, I'm at that point in my life now, you know, but after 22 years of being in the chair, and, you know, I was able to adapt and just, you know, move on with my life and go down roads I've probably would have never gone in my life before. And, you know, how crazy where life leads you, and it's just a blessing. So, you know, I'm here to just try to, you know, be that example and gives you guys some hope. So, you know, just thank you guys for having me on here and share my story.
Yeah. You know, I remember when I was at the, I guess it was the 1-year anniversary opening of the King Gym. And I came when they first opened up, and I had a conversation with Brett, and that ended up being a very popular video. I came back during the 1-year, you know, anniversary. And just all I wanted to do was just, you know, video, record different stuff, and help celebrate the 1 year. And I did want to pull, you know, different people aside and talk to them about their fitness journey and such. And I said to Brett, I said, well, who should I talk to? And there was another guy standing behind the desk, and they looked at each other, looked at me, and said, you need to talk to Mr. No Excuses. And I said, who's Mr. No Excuses? And they pointed to you, and I'm like, okay, let's let's do it. And that's
Yeah.
when I came up to you and introduced
Yeah.
myself to you.
Yeah.
And after hearing your story, honestly, there are times when I hear stories and my internal dialogue is saying, I will never complain about anything ever again. I'm thinking to myself, holy cow.
Yeah.
So I introduced myself to you. We started talking. We hit it off well. And I discovered that you are an IFBB pro and that you've competed in a number of competitions, including Mr. Olympia, which is the big one.
Top of the top. Yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah.
Super Bowl bodybuilding, you could say.
And it's to be there must be amazing. I mean, it is the what's it like to be at a Mr. Olympia competition?
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of unbelievable that you're actually there and there to compete, not just there to watch. And I don't know, for me, it's just like so surreal because I would never want to be in the spotlight or anything before I had my accident, and let alone after I had my accident. Now I'm in a wheelchair feeling, like everybody's looking at me because I'm disabled or handicapped. And, yeah, I just don't like it. It's uncomfortable. I don't want people looking at me like that way. So for me to now I'm on stage in the freaking spotlight, showing off my muscles, saying, everybody look at me. It's kind of crazy, but it just makes me feel so grateful, that I'm in this position after almost losing my life. Like just being able-bodied, making it to Mr. Olympia is amazing. But when it comes to, being in a wheelchair and just how we have to train and how much different, and to be at that level after, as I'm in a wheelchair I'm just so grateful, it could be so much worse. So at the time, it's just it's almost like you're speechless and you're just trying to soak it all in. And it's just, it's almost like, I don't have the words to even say, but it's like an honor. And just to be out there on that stage, and, it's a blessing. I'm blessed to be there.
It's interesting when we were chatting initially, this is how much I don't know about how you work. I thought you were doing all of your lifts in the chair. I thought you were sitting in the chair doing lifting, and then you said, no, you get out of the chair, you strap yourself to the bench.
Yeah.
And tell us about that. I mean, I was just like,
there's no handbook, on wheelchair bodybuilding and how to do, your exercises, at least, now, stuff out there. But at the time, it's just, you figure it out, trial and error. And I just went back into the gym to try and, put some, get some strength back. And I never was into bodybuilding before. I used to lift weights and stuff, but I never even thought about bodybuilding. But it wasn't until after the chair that happened, I got back in the gym. And, the trainer I started working with there brought in the magazine the one day, the Flex magazine, which is a bodybuilding magazine. And he said, here, check this out. And it was the Wheelchair Nationals competition that year. It was that local issue. And it's down in Florida, the big Wheelchair Nationals. And that's the first time I ever seen wheelchair bodybuilding ever. I looked at all the other wheelchair sports, basketball, whatever they do, hockey, rugby. That's crazy stuff there, the rugby. I'm already injured enough. I don't need to be bashing in the chairs and stuff. But anyway, none of it really did anything for me, got my attention, because I wanted to do some kind of sports. I'm athletic. I like to play sports. And but when I saw that, because after the accident, your self-esteem is in the toilet. I'm a 21-year-old guy now. I'm freaking paralyzed, and pretty much was dependent, back living back home, and having your mom had to take care of you again at 21 is pretty humbling, so kind of you don't feel good. And, but when you see these guys there and in the shape they were, the muscles, they look like regular guys just sitting down, So I'm like, that totally just like lit a fire in me. I'm like, man, if I have to be stuck in this chair for the rest of my life, if I can look like that, I can deal with it. You know what I mean? If we can make that happen, then, this would be great. And so I told my trainer, I was just like, I don't know, you think we could do that? And he was such a great guy, positive guy. He's like, dude, you just say the word, we'll get training. And like you said, there's no handbook or nothing. And you just figure it out, like at first I wasn't as, mobile. And so transferring on the machines was like, you had to kind of figure out the best way to do that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much as long as I'm sitting, I could do every exercise, or laying down, you could do every exercise that you're standing up, so it's just a matter of, just trying stuff out and seeing what works. And, once you do, you stick to it. And that's when I discovered like, well, yeah, so figure I got no trunk control or legs to stabilize me. So when I'm out of my chair, like if I'm on that bench, if I'm not holding on with my hands, like I'm falling over, I can't stabilize myself. And, so, all right, got to find a belt or something to strap around you. And then just realize like, yeah, what are we going to do? Strap myself here, there, and got to strap my legs so they don't flop out. And like little things like that, but it makes the biggest difference. And the more stable I am on like the bench or whatever, the stronger I am and the more weight I can lift. And the less chance you're going to have of risking an injury, you know what I mean? Because God forbid I'm on the bench and that belt's too loose and the bar tilts that way, I'm going over, it could get ugly. So, but it was just a matter of trial and error. And once you figured out what worked and then start seeing results, it's just like it's a great feeling. So it was like kind of just setting the standard on what to do for how to train for wheelchair bodybuilding. And now it just seemed we're growing the sport big time. We got the website out there. Now, like you said, we're on the Olympia stage. So we're finally getting recognition, and it's great to be a part of it and be like one of the original guys. And now I am one of the older guys though. So, now I'm starting to feel my age, but like I've been training or competing for 20 years, and that's a long time, but now getting old, you're feeling it in your joints, and it's just like, oh, but I just love it, and I'll always be a part of it, and I'm always, it's great to see the new guys coming up, and just they're all psyched up, and it's just like, yeah, man, this is pretty much what got me through all these years being paralyzed, is just training and having the goal and something to shoot for. And that's what keeps you going, man. Because if you have no goal to shoot for, you got no vision for the future. It's kind of like, where are you going? And you'll end up, spinning around in circles 20 years and not getting anything accomplished. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful that just the sport of bodybuilding, man, it changed my life. I travel all over the world. I've traveled across the country, across the world to compete, man. South Africa. I'd never be going to those places, so it's just like,
right.
It's just great that I can inspire people across the world and have people wanting to have my autograph and stuff like that. It's crazy. I just feel like I'm just a regular normal guy, but it's great to see how you can, having a positive effect on people, especially like little kids, they look up at you like you're a superhero or something like that. And that's like got to be, the most kind of rewarding feeling. Even more than winning the competition is having like this little kid come up with the magazine with your picture on it and want your autograph, and it's like, oh man, just getting your picture together. That's what it's all about. Pretty much for me, it's just like, oh, this is great. This is what it's all about. And it's a great feeling. But like I said, yeah, thank God. That's probably, other than, my faith in God, that's what got me through, all these years.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What about when you go from just like Joe Bodybuilder going to the gym to being IFBB Pro? What is the process there? I mean, that's like next level.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You try not to let it go to your head, but like it is. It's great because, yeah, man, it takes a lot for us guys in chairs, man, to train like that. It's hard freaking work, and you really got to be dedicated. And it just takes that much dedication, and other people coming up to me saying, oh, how much I inspire them to get their butts in the gym is what motivates me to keep doing it too, So that kind of helps me too. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it does. It takes some time to kick in, you know, you're really like, I'm an IFBB pro. And like I said, it's just hard to take in. It's almost like it's not real, but it is. And then, but it's just great. We go to bodybuilding shows, you get recognized, people know who you are, things like that. That's pretty cool too, but it's like we're setting the standard for wheelchair bodybuilding, and, we're putting it out there, and we're just getting people from all over the world, wanting to compete and whatnot. And so it's great, man. And we just want to keep it growing. So I don't know, whoever's watching this channel, man, just spread the word. Go to wheelchairbodybuilding.com. You'll see all the athletes on there. You can send us messages, things like that. And, Nick Scott, the guy who put it all together, he did some good stuff on the site, where you can, send emails in if you want additional information, how to compete, what you got to do to get, your registration card to compete for the year. So yeah, it's great, man. But yeah, we got that out there now. When I started, there was nothing out there other than, unless you're in the bodybuilding, that's the only way you'd see it in the bodybuilding magazine. So but now, like I said, we got the website, we're, on the Olympia stage. So man, let's just keep it growing, and just, it does, it change, all the guys that are coming up, man. I know you think your life's over and all that, but I never thought I'd be an IFBB pro, up on stage in front of thousands of people, showing your muscles, and you just never know what's possible, but just don't give up and keep pushing on, and just the doors of opportunity, man, just, they open up, and it's just really great.
Who do you think that you inspire more? Do you inspire people that are in chairs and disabled more, or people who are walking? What do you think?
Yeah, well, the fact of the matter is there's more people walking in than wheelchairs, so I mean, yeah, honestly, I don't see as many other guys in wheelchairs in my everyday life, unless I go to a show or something like that. I really around my neighborhood and stuff, I'm the only guy in a wheelchair I ever see. I don't really ever see people out. So, but it's only at the shows where you meet people, or now it's just online, which is great, because there's tons, you would never meet these people in other countries and whatnot. But for the most part, no, I think it's the average person, you know what I mean? At least that's more of what I hear, because I, communicate every day with people online or in person. But yeah, no, it's just those people that are just sometimes I feel, I feel like I have a calling on my life. God spared my life, and now it's my job to get out there and try to, inspire people and encourage people to not give up, and share my faith with them, and, show them what faith's about, and introduce them to God. And pretty much that's my strength there. So, but the average person when I feel like I'm not out, speaking to anybody, or, doing any speaking or just anything like that, I'm just doing my normal life, I'm not having an effect on somebody. That's when you really are. It's the people that see you doing my daily routine, getting in and out of my car, going, back and forth to work, in and out of the gym. And, they see me get my chair and out of my car, and they're just like, man, you have to do that every time. I'm like, yeah, but yeah, it looks like a lot to them, a lot of work, a lot of effort, but after doing it for so much, it's the norm. And, it's just that's the way it always been. It's been that long for me. It almost feels like that's the way it's always been, and it just becomes the norm. But it's amazing how people, how they, really look at something like that and just get inspired. But especially at the gym, when they see me lifting weights and whatnot. And I don't realize it until, for example, the other night, I saw a guy at the gym. After I got done, I haven't seen him in a long time. And we had the best conversation, started sharing our faith. But he shared when he first started seeing me coming in there on the bench, pressing dumbbells, and, pushing hard and working hard. I never knew it, but that whole time, he was like, you totally inspired me, and, and things like that. So it's just a really great feeling, especially when, I'm just doing me, I'm doing life, the way I have to do it now. And to me, like I said, it's the norm. I don't feel like it's anything special, but the average person, they're just like, man, I don't know if I could do that. But, it's just you never know until it happens. Cause I would probably say the same thing, you could never be stuck in a wheelchair or whatever. And then when you look back and you're like, man, it's hard to believe, but you know, it's amazing what you can accomplish. You know what I mean? You never know until you get faced with the situation.
Yeah.
It's great, you know, but it's just,
Wow.
I don't have a secret remedy or, you know, of what you need to do. It's just, I just don't give up. You know, I just do what I can to get through each day. And I'm not saying it's like a struggle, but like, yeah, you have your hard days, but you just keep pushing forward and just keep going. And that's pretty much how I get through it. You know, just keep going. Don't give up. I guess maybe that's the way I was raised. You know what I mean? But it's just what you got to do to make it through. So
I got to introduce you to Father Michael Butler. He's an Orthodox priest, friend of mine, and he is a competing bodybuilder. And he and I are the same age. And he's in the gym 7 days a week, and he's got a congregation. He's in the state of Michigan, and it is his second identity, other than being a priest, obviously.
Yeah.
Seeing pictures of him, you're like, what? Like, holy
that's great.
cow.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I know, right?
That is really cool. I've seen him on your channel, George. He is a cool guy.
And where is he?
Yeah. He's in Livonia, Michigan.
Okay.
And, yeah. Just hold on 1 second here. Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, did he freeze up on us?
He should be back any second. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Adjusting. Yeah, but I was gonna say, Johnny, that guy that he's talking about is really, really cool. He is really cool. And guys, while George is paused, I've actually had both these guys on my channel, George and Johnny, and it was awesome having them both on, and they're both really cool dudes. But yeah, George, I see your back, bud. So if you want to get back to what you were saying.
Hold on once. Okay, we're back. I just shot Father Butler a quick text.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
See if he's around. Colby, when I first introduced you to Johnny Quinn, what thoughts went through your head?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure my words fell short. You actually had to meet him yourself in order to really see what the deal is. Because when you try to explain to somebody, yeah, I know this guy, he's a bodybuilder, he's a wheelchair bodybuilder. You know, people don't know. They don't know, they don't put the two things together. You don't put wheelchair and bodybuilder together. But,
right.
Colby, what'd you think?
Well, I have to say, I remember you mentioning Johnny on your channel one day, and I messaged you and said, that's the type of guy that I want to interview on my channel. He sounds like he's a super interesting dude. So I've interviewed him twice on my channel if you guys want to go check it out. And I had an awesome first impression of Johnny. For a guy that had been through as much as he did in his life, it was very inspirational seeing a comeback story like that. And of all the obstacles men face in the world, and there's plenty of them, Johnny is a prime example of how you can overcome any of it. And I think that has to do a lot with his faith in Christ and his persistence and dedication to what he does. Because this man gets up and faithfully works out all the time. And even with him being in a wheelchair, he's got this unwavering dedication that is second to none. So it was two of the easiest interviews that I've ever done, because he's a super easy guy to talk to. He is a lot like you, George, in the sense that he's a very straightforward, no nonsense guy. And I just love having you both on my channel, because it's just always a good conversation. And I definitely hope that everybody checks out Johnny's social media pages, because from what Johnny and I have gathered on our previous interviews, he welcomes messages from people, whether if they're in need of help with something or whether they need tips or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about Johnny.
Anything.
And you know what? Like I said, he's one of my favorite people to interview. So make sure you guys check him out. Seriously.
Thanks, my man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Johnny, do you still have the car? The
Mustang.
With a Mustang.
Mustang. Absolutely. Yep. Getting ready to take it out finally. You know, I don't drive it much in the wintertime. So,
yeah.
You know, I'm not driving in any kind of snow. It's not going anywhere in the snow or,
Right,
you know,
right.
the bad weather. So I usually park it for the winter. But, yeah, the weather's getting nice out. So I've been driving that lately, too. So it's always fun to drive, you know.
Yeah.
Try not to get any tickets, but it's hard not to.
Right.
You know,
Now,
but, yeah, it's great.
When you get in and out of that, I noticed that like sports cars, high performance cars have a tendency to be a little bit lower. I know I had a Toyota Celica Supra.
Oh, geez, yeah, those things.
You know, and I almost felt like my butt was like just inches off the ground.
Yeah, you're on the ground. Yeah.
Now, with your vehicle, how is the height of the seat? Did you have to get it modified, or do you just use it the way?
Most of the time you can adjust the seat up and down and whatnot. You know, some cars, yeah, they're really low. Even if you adjust it high enough, it's still. But at least the Mustang, the Mustang is lowered, but it seems like the seat sits pretty high. It's almost level with the chair, so that's not bad. But on my BMW, that seat's real low, and even if I bring it up high enough, so I actually put another cushion on top of that, so it like sits me up that much higher.
Okay.
It's actually softer too, you know. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, at least for me, yeah, I don't need too much modifications getting out of the car, you know. But they can do some cool stuff, you know. These places that modify your cars, because you know, I operate my car with a hand control. One hand lever does the gas and the brake. So at least for me, I got full control. Yeah. Can't use my legs at all. So I got both arms.
Where is that? Is that on the steering wheel?
So it just mounts underneath the steering column, and then a handle sticks out like underneath where the turn signal is. So like you hold up to the steering wheel with this hand, and the gas and the brake is that lever. And so you just pull it.
So they can retrofit. They can retrofit any car for that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's just a matter of, you know, summer, you know, a lot more modifications are needed and stuff like that. But yeah, as long as it's not a stick shift, it's got to be automatic. But yeah, they pretty much anything, I guess. You know what I mean? At least it was funny though, because on the BMW, it just happens to be that much extra just because it's a BMW. So I don't know, but you know, but it was like it wasn't a normal fit. It was something different just because I guess, you know, German engineering or whatever. So it took a little bit more to make it fit on that. Whereas the other cars, like it was real easy, you know? But yeah, that's definitely, that definitely needed, but it's great. You know, it's actually fun at first, you know, you almost feel like, you know, you're driving with your hands. It's like a video game or something almost, right? You just got to get used to it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's pretty cool. But it's like, luckily, at least this day and age, this is where I'm like you were saying, you can't, like, after seeing me train in the gym, like you can't complain about nothing. Like, yeah, even when I see things like, or other guys in chairs like that are quadriplegic, they can't use their arms, or like look at Christopher Reeve, he couldn't even breathe on his own. Like that was Superman, you know? And
yeah,
I would not want to, like I said, I would not want to live that life. To me, I'm totally normal compared to that. Like, you know what I mean? So I can't complain either, you know, like, or the guy with no arms and no legs, who's a motivational speaker, he's out there and the stuff that he does, I'm like, you know, like, so I got to be so grateful. So like even things like, there's not really anything I can't do these days, you know, because of technology and stuff too. You know, so it's like another thing that like I'm so grateful for. If this happened to me, at least it's this day and age, not like back in the 50s or something where, you know, nothing's accessible. And so like, again, you know, you just got to look at all the little things like that. You're like, you know what? Yeah, kind of lucky, you know, kind of blessed, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, it's just something else that makes me realize, you know, it helps me to like get through. Like, yeah, you know, I can't complain. You know, it could be that much worse. You know, I could drive now. I do everything. I just don't walk. You know, so it's like for the most of my life, after I got injured, it's like my faith to God. Like I turn my faith on, but I'm chasing God to get healed. You know, I'm praying to God for healing. That's all I want to do is walk again. But as I continue to, you know, dig more into the word and get to know God better, it goes from seeking the Lord to get healed to seeking him just to know him better and to get closer, because it made me realize like this whole time I want to walk again because I think like I have to walk to live. Oh, wait a minute. I've been doing this and this and this and not walking. So that's my thing. I don't need to walk to live, you know. It's just like it totally changed my whole aspect of life, and to where it turned in seeking God just to get closer to him and just experience more of God's love and his blessings. And it's just, you know, and actually joy of just enjoying your life. And it's hard to understand, but when you really experience like the things I've experienced and you recognize like this can only be God, it's just like it wakes you up to like, this is what's real. This is what matters. You know, you see the greatness and stuff, even with everything going on with COVID. Like COVID was actually the stuff that happened in my life is good. And it's where I am today is allowing me to do what I'm doing today. I mean, it's a long story, but like you recognize that God is behind it the whole time and just putting things in order. And when you try to live by the principle, like where seek first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness and all these other things that you've been praying for, stuff, physical things, still fall into place. And then when you really start seeing that stuff happen like that in that order, and you're just like, wait a minute, yeah, this has got to be, you know, it's just, you're so grateful and thankful. And so that just keeps me going, man. It gets me, you know, excited to just live life and want to live another day and look forward to, you know, what God's got planned. Like I'm excited about my future. Good things are happening. Finally, like this is a long process I've been going through, but like now I'm buying a house and finally, you know, me and my girl, we finally got our house that we want after searching for so long. So like, and this just happened too yesterday. So we just found all this out. So now it's like all the craziness begins. How are we going to move? We got to move. We got to do this. We got to pack. And it's crazy. So, but at the same time, it's just like answered prayer, you know, things happening at the right time, things like that. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's now you just I got to get out there and share it, you know, and just tell people. But it's just great though. That's what I mean. Like you just got to open your eyes up and see, you know, what's real and, you know, the truth and what's going on in the world today. And I'm just so grateful for what I have, and you know, like being able to come here on your show, and I don't know how many people are watching, but you know, it's great, and I'm so glad I could be here to share my story with you guys. And you know, I just feel like this is why I'm still here. So I'm just grateful that you guys have me on here again.
Hold on, I have a little Wi-Fi issue again. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can fix that. Hold on.
No, it's not.
You back on?
It's frozen.
All right.
That's probably better.
Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, that's better now.
There he is. There he is.
Sorry, I kind of ran off on a tangent. You know, that just happens. But see, like it just comes out, and you know, that's you know, the issues I have every time I start
That's
sharing.
perfectly okay.
kind of runs away from me. But
That's all right. What we'll do is, if anyone has any questions, we'll do Q&A. If there's any questions in the audience of anybody who wants to ask any questions of Johnny or Colby. Let me ask you this, Johnny. Now, when you were paralyzed, at where on your body were you paralyzed from? Like from the bottom of your rib cage on down?
Yeah, so it's funny how everybody, they generalize it like, oh yeah, paralyzed from the waist down, because they figure you just can't walk, so you can't move your legs. But honestly, it all depends on in your spinal cord. Every vertebrae level is going to affect different parts of your body. So the higher up on your spine it gets damaged, the higher your body is going to get messed up. So like people who break their neck, yeah, they're paralyzed from the neck down. So their arms, everything. Me, luckily, it was lower. It was like my mid back, which is still kind of high, but it ends up being from it's the T6 vertebrae or T9 vertebrae, which is like your mid back. That shattered, but it damaged my spinal cord up to like the T6 level, which is a little bit higher. So from the front, if it's like right under my chest is where it gets cut off, so for bodybuilding, I can at least I got a full chest,
Okay.
and, I can get my upper body from there up. But as far as abs go and like lower back and obliques, like that's below my injury level. So that's where the signal gets cut off. So there's no signal to activate those muscles to work. So that's where, the brain says, okay, walk. Well, it gets cut off at that signal. So that's why nothing's happening. And so you kind of work with what you have. And like I said, with the higher level of the injury, the less stability people have. So like for me, I use like sometimes 3 belts I strap around me when I'm training just to keep me on there more stabilized. But yeah, so it's about, for me, like right below my chest, so with bodybuilding,
Okay.
it's hard. It can never be a completely fair, even playing field because everybody's injury level different. So if somebody has a low injury at their waistline, they'll have all their abs. So they'll look completely fine from there up. Whereas mine gets cut off here. So it'll look like I don't train abs or, the rest of me is good. But then when you get to my stomach, it's, there's no abs or nothing. And the judges are supposed to understand that it's because your injury level, but that's the different effects it has. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't care. I'm on stage. It is what it is. I just do the best with what I have. And there's always guys with lower injuries, and there's only so many of us, so you can't really group us into separate categories, but it's still all good. It's just everybody's just competing to do the best they can. And that's what it's about. Like you don't have to win, man. Just getting on that stage is a victory, especially at that level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me ask you this. What about winning? I know you play to win. You're not.
Oh, absolutely.
You're not.
Oh no,
Tell me.
train. I don't train. I train hard. You know what I mean? And
You
it's just,
train to
do
win.
the best I can do. I do the best I can do, but I see, the size and shape of other guys, and it's just like, well, there's only so, I'm not there. I'm not there yet, and to get to that size, I probably might not ever get there. You know what I mean? And I'm happy kind of with my physique the way it is. I don't really feel the need to get super huge or whatever, but not like it's that easy to happen anyway. It takes a lot of work, but still, I'm like happy with my size. So like now I'm at the point to where like, honestly, I've been competing that long. I've won, you know what I mean? I've won, my fair share of shows. And now like for me, like like I said, I'm one of the older guys, but like, yeah, I'm just glad to get out there and just, be the best shape I can be. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course I want to beat everybody, but hey, if I get beaten, that guy's better. Hey, I'm happy for him. It's gotten to that point, it's been that long. So like now I recognize for me, yeah, just being on stage again is just a victory, but doesn't mean I don't train that much lighter. I still train hard.
So you have been in a chair for about what, 20 years now?
22.
22 years.
Yeah.
And do you meet guys that have at these competitions that have been in a chair for a year, 2 years?
Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know if that's short, like that recent, But no, some new guys, yeah, it might only be 3 years, something like that, a couple years, and yeah, I try to tell them, man, I've been where you were. It's great, because we can totally relate. And that's what's great about just all the guys. We all share the same camaraderie. We all have our own story. Like I'm great. I appreciate like you guys want me to share my story and everybody think it's great. But like, man, all those guys have great stories too. You know what I mean? We all have
Mhm.
our stories, and it's just great to be able to get together with everybody. And it's at first when I first started competing, yeah, that's the first time I really was around that many other guys in chairs. And then especially we're all there for bodybuilding. So you're like, man, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? And it even turns into not just working out. It's just like, as far as your body, like, yeah, well, what do you do for this? Like, because I got to be honest, straightforward. Like, it's not just about walking, like your bowels and your bladder, like that function, that all gets messed up too. And people don't ever realize that. They just think you can't walk. And like, yeah, that's the least of, my issues. Like,
Yeah,
it's the not
yeah.
walk. That's not the thing I ever have trouble. It's just the other stuff you got to do to get your body regulated to, so you can function every day again. And it's just, that's a thing that you got to learn how to do, is just readjust and how you do certain things in your life. So you're kind of like, well, how do you do that? So it's really kind of cool. And, it's great to share that with other guys when they're in your same position. So that's
Well,
another good thing I really like. Yeah.
when I first met you, we talked about manhood and our sexuality, our drive
Yeah.
is what makes us men. And I know as men get older, their testosterone level drops and such. And testosterone it's a feel good hormone. It's the hormone that makes you feel like you can do something. It makes you feel unstoppable. But your T levels didn't stop. They didn't stop.
Right.
It's not like you're still a man.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that stuff doesn't stop. No, you're still a guy, man. You got the same. I'm the same guy I was. You know, I'm just more educated, or just I'm older, more educated now. But like, you're still the same guy. Like, I feel like I'm still that 21-year-old kid sometimes. That when I have my accent. But like, you're just a little wiser. Yeah, you know what I mean? A little wiser now. And after being through all this, you learn to recognize the good things in life, and yeah, maybe need to slow down a little bit here. And yeah, what was like most important back then or whatever. And I just like, man, no, I just want to go home and relax. I just want to go relax with my girl, sit there and watch TV, do whatever. You know what I mean? That's my Friday night, Saturday nights, right? But
How did you meet your girl?
see, now this is all part of my story too. It goes back to this is how everything kind of falls in place at the right time, and it's crazy. And I'll try to make it short and sweet, but through work, I do, other than bodybuilding, I'm an insurance broker. So I deal with health insurance all day. So I'm on the phone with people all day, helping them get enrolled to get health insurance and all that, which is good too, because it gives me opportunity. You get personal with people, and they're sharing their personal stuff with you. And I'll mention my accident or whatever, just to give them an example of like, this is why you need health insurance. You don't want to be without it, because this is what happened to me. But anyway, she happened to be my sales rep. She works for United Healthcare, right? So she was my sales rep for, so if I needed help with stuff, I'd call her if there was a problem with something. And so we worked together for a few years, and so we got friendly, personable. But she's all the way out in Wisconsin, right? But over the years, we just developed a great friendship, and then it started to turn into, you could tell there's a little bit something there. And still have yet to see the girl, but the sound of her voice, soft and sweet, and in your mind, you're like, she's got to be beautiful and whatever, And so, but yet, like, the email didn't have a picture or anything with it yet, so I didn't know. And then social media, I looked, but I didn't think I could find her or whatever. But it was funny because not knowing what she looked like, I was really becoming more attracted to her. And so it was almost like, well, if I ever do meet her, regardless of what she looks like, yeah, I can't wait to meet her or whatever. And we got along great and just hit it off. And so her daughter went to Michigan. She had a daughter, and she went to Michigan, graduated Michigan. And just happens to get a job in Philly, which is where I live, in the suburbs, which is like 30 minutes away. So now her daughter's going to be moving here. And because I said, if she gets a job in Philly, then you better come see me. And she just happens to get the job. And next thing you know, this is the first time we're going to see each other. And in like, I don't know, years or whatever, but we've been working together for years. And so I finally meet each other. And it was just like natural, like we always knew each other, you know, but we just had never seen each other. But I think that's kind of why, like, we just got along. It wasn't awkward or anything, because it was like, yeah, we know each other, just never saw each other. So, but when we did, she was absolutely beautiful. And I was like, because I'm thinking my luck, watch when I meet her. Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where, like, you know, I hate to say, but, you know, it's just, you know, like you see in the movie. Right. It sounds like this really beautiful girl, and she's a big girl and scary or whatever. But I was like, man, that's too good to be true. And it just continued on. You know, she went back. She, you know, was here with her daughter, so we'd see each other for a few days, and then she would go back home and for a little bit, and then come back out, and then she would come back out, you know, for the weekend or something, which is not like a quick, easy trip. But so that was the only time we really got to see each other. And here's where the pandemic comes into play. And she came to one of my bodybuilding shows, to the Arnold. And then after we got back, that's when COVID hit. And so she ended up getting stuck down here. So for like 3 months, because everything's shut down, you know what I mean? So we got to spend all that time together, and she could spend that time with her daughter. So it was like great all over. So it was like, as crazy and as bad as the pandemic was, I don't know. I was working from home, you know, so like I'm still working. I'm working from home. She's working from home still from her computer. She can do it too. So I was just like, man, this is great. You know, I was enjoying it. So, and then that went past, and, you know, we just kept getting closer. But so now we're at the point to where, like, yeah, we're taking it to the next level. And I'm just so excited about everything. And it's all like God's timing. We decided this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a house, move to Florida, get married, and then live the rest of our lives. And that was always like the goal. And now that it's finally like happening, it's like, oh my God, this is really happening. So like, this is all going on right now though. So now, you know, the whole house thing just happened right now. So I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm nervous. I'm scared, but like all those emotions at once together.
What part of Florida?
Port St. Lucie is where it is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. And my buddy I graduated high school with, he's my realtor down there. He lives down there. So, you know, I got him down there looking out for me. And after so many millions of houses, I put my trust in him, and he finally found us the house. So now we got that. But yeah, man, just so grateful for all that. It's just like, after all the years, and finally, you know, things are really, you know, when they start happening, this is where, you know, it's another God experience where you're like, man, this is only God, you know, at work. And so that's where I am now, man. And it's a great feeling. So, well, again, yeah, like I said, scary. So we're going to see how this goes, but that's just getting closer and closer to the goal, and just, you know, living out our best lives, the rest of our lives in Florida, and just enjoying the Florida life. You know what I mean? I never thought it would happen, because I keep saying I want to move to Florida and do that whole thing, and now it's finally happening. So I don't know, but it's a great thing, man. You know, so good stuff's happening, and yeah, I'm just grateful for it.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome. What do you think about that, Colby?
Honestly, man, I am happy that God had a higher plan for his life in general. That's basically that's an incredible story. And like I said, it's a testament to where, you know, things always happen in God's time, and it might not happen immediately or as fast as you expect it, but God always has a bigger plan. And as is shown by Johnny's life, God had a bigger plan.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. I mean, if anybody has questions or anything, man, don't be afraid to hit me up. You know, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Nothing to hide. You know what I mean? It's speaking the truth, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny. Speaking the truth is, let me ask you this. Are there questions or topics that people are afraid to talk to you about for fear of offending you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always this sexual thing.
Yeah.
Can you still do it? Does it work? And I'll tell you know, so I'll tell you, or just like the bathroom thing, Like, yeah, how do you go to the bathroom? Does that work normal and all that? Well, like, no, but you adjust to it. So where it is normal now, it's a routine that you do, just keep your body done. But yeah, that's the normal now. So it's no big deal. But yeah, no, it's just different stuff you got to do. But that's always the one you could tell, like, they want to ask you, but they don't. And it's funny because it's funny because like everybody's kind of the same way, like, can you feel? Where can you feel? Can you not feel? And then you just got to tell them, like, yeah, look, this is what I got to do. Yeah, I mean, we can do it. We just got to make it, alternative ways. You figure out ways to do it, ways it works. And, but it can be done. And, like, even for me, like, I have no feeling either. So like, I have no movement, but like, I can't feel anything either. So like from my chest down, like, yeah, I could stab myself in the leg and I wouldn't feel nothing. I mean, my leg would probably, I have reflexes still, they work. So my leg would probably jump, but I wouldn't feel a thing, So when it comes to like intimacy and stuff, for me, it's amazing how mental it is, when you can't feel anything, that you don't have that stimulation, but where you can feel, like from here up, like that much more sensitive, and just holding each other like that, like that's the part that's like amazing anymore, like that, maybe you didn't think so it was before, but now it is, you know what I mean? And for me, it's just the physical, being intimate with somebody, being able to be close like that, just sharing that moment together. Doesn't necessarily need to be that physical thing, but just sharing that, that intimacy together. For me, it's all that, it's just as good. You know what I mean? It's like me being able just to have that is enough for me, at least. You know what I mean? I love it. To me, like I said, it's just that closeness and knowing, having that bond, and over the years with somebody, you just you become one. You get to know each other that well, and it's just it's a great feeling. But yeah, that's always the question, and everybody wants to know, how do you guys do that?
People probably start stuttering, and you could probably tell that they're about to ask something like that because they kind of dance around the topic a little bit.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, honestly, when I was first injured too, like in rehab, they actually had like a thing where, to educate you, like, look, yeah, this is still possible, and actually they had a video of a couple, a guy that was paralyzed, and that they did a video. I was like an educational video, but hey, it's just to show you, like, look, this is possible. This is how we can do it. So like, because that's what it is. It's important for people, especially if you want to have a kid, if you want to have a baby, like, what do we do? How do we do that?
Yeah.
But it's possible, just depends on, your level of injury. But yeah, you just make, you do what you have to do. I mean, there's just ways around it, just adjust.
Yeah, there was a movie several years ago. I think it was called The Sessions, with Helen Hunt, and she was a sex therapist that was hired to be with a paralyzed guy. And it really was I give it the highest rating.
Really?
It is such an incredible movie, and they ended up like falling in love. I mean, it was really kind of a neat film, and I would encourage everyone to look it up because you have to. The acting is incredible. Now, let me ask you this: now, when you watch any movies, Johnny, where there's somebody who is playing the role of a paralyzed person, do you look at them and go, no, they're like, or do you say, oh, that's authentic, that looks real, that's really how it is?
Well, you can tell. I think you can tell, because I don't know, it's hard for me. I can tell because you can look at just the way, first of all, whatever the wheelchair they're in, just the way they move in the wheelchair, and like guys have like, they'll have a little pot belly usually, like, cause like for me, if I didn't eat as well as I did, or train like I do, dude, my stomach would be, because you don't have you don't have the function there. So like when you eat and eat a lot, the food's just going to sit and it just turns to fat. But yeah, you'll see, like, even as good as I train, like I always have a little pot belly, because like the muscles can't hold themselves in there. So like, I always tell by that, you know what I mean? You could tell like, oh yeah, you can see a little pot belly. And I'm telling, I don't know, I just noticed the way their legs look or the way they sit in the chair, the way they operate, you know, you could always tell. You're just like, yeah, right. But
Interesting.
yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you strap yourself into your chair around your belly or strap your legs to the chair, or are you just plopped in the
I'm
chair?
just in the chair. Yeah. You know, at first, you know, they do come with seatbelts and stuff that you can put on there so you don't fall out of the chair. And then, yeah, definitely at first, you know, that when I rehab that first chair that they give you, yeah, they're going to make sure you got a seatbelt on there and all that stuff. But when you get your that's why you get a custom chair. They fit it for you so that like it fits your body. So when you're in it nice and tight. You know what I mean? Your legs are like your whole trunk sits in the cushion. It's fit in there perfectly. So yeah, your legs are nice and straight and they don't flop around. You know what I mean? So there's really no need to strap them in there. You know, but that's the whole reason for that. You know, that you get your customized chair. But for the most part, no, like it does help to wear a seatbelt because like, yeah, if you're out rolling around the street, you know, you hit like a little, it doesn't take much, you know, if there's a little pothole or a little something in your front wheel goes in there and you're going head over,
you're going,
you know, or you like I'm telling you, like a pine cone or something. I always hit them and it jams your front wheel. And like, I catch myself because yeah, it stops your chair. So the momentum just wants to throw your body over. So yeah, but I've done that plenty of times too. Especially when I go out with my dog and she pulls me in the chair, you know, I put the leash around my waist so she has room to walk. It's that way I keep her next to me. But oh yeah, I'll get her to start running and she'll pull me down the road, man. We'll be flying down the road. And I'm telling you, we're going to fast. And the littlest pebble or a pine cone hits that front wheel, man, I'm out on the ground. Yeah, it happened a couple of times, but yeah. But no, yeah. So, but it is, you got to be careful though, like, especially when you're newly injured. But yeah, as you get adapted to the chair and you know what your limitations are and whatnot, you know what I mean? Because yeah, you can fall out. Like I said, it's just, you know, something like momentum like that. But for the most part, when you're just sitting rolling around, yeah, you're in your chair, you're pretty stable, you know, for the most part.
So when you are sitting around and let's just say typical Friday night and you're watching a movie or watching Netflix, are you on the sofa or are you in your chair?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because for the most part, yeah, I do end up sitting in my chair most of the time, but I do try to get out, you know, sit on the couch. I mean, I can. It's just for whatever reason, because I'm always like up and down, like I'm always in and out of the kitchen, always eating. So it's like when I'm in the couch, I hate to have to get in and out, like out of my chair, up and down. It's like once you're in the couch, you want to make sure you got your drink, you got this or that, so you don't have to, you know, keep getting up and going to the kitchen or whatever. But I mean, no, I prefer to be out of the chair, you know what I mean? But it's just funny. I find myself just sitting in the chair for the most part.
Interesting.
But like if I'm with my girlfriend here and we're together, then yeah, I'm going to sit on the couch, definitely, you know? But yeah, I usually don't like to sit still for too long. That's the problem. You know, I sit on the couch and I'm like, all right, I got to get up, you know, I don't, you know, it's funny. I got a couch and I rarely sit on it, but
yeah.
But yeah, like for the most part, yeah, because a lot of guys I know, they try to be out of their chair as much as they can, you know, and it's the better thing for you. You know what I mean? Elevate your legs a little bit, you know, or at least just stretch them out, you know, because that stuff makes a difference, you know.
So do you get out of, let's just say you're on your couch.
Yeah.
Are you using your arms like doing dips, like you're lifting yourself up, or are you pulling yourself up with something?
Well, I don't have anything to pull up, but yeah, so all you can do is just, you know, push down like that, like you're doing a dip, you know what I mean? And the couch is like that much lower than my chair too, so getting in the couch is easy, but getting off, you got to like hop up, you know, so I'll grab like 2 pillows so I can use them to push off of, so, you know, it gives you more leverage, you know what I mean? So stuff like that, yeah, you figure out like, yeah, if without the pillows, it's hard to get my butt up that high to get onto the chair, so that's why, you know, you use the pillows for leverage. So like those are the types of things, you know, that you learn how to transfer. Or like when you fall out on the ground, trying to get in the chair off the ground. Yeah, that's like the biggest pain in the ass, you know, but you learn how to do it.
what would that be like for, let's say, a person who does have use of their legs? Like if I wrapped a belt around my legs and ankles and had no use of them, would that be similar?
I guess, yeah. I mean, can't use them at all. They're just there. You know what I mean? So just act like they just drag, behind you. There's no function. It's like I have a lot of spasticity though in my legs, so that triggers like a muscle spasms. Like when I do transfer out of my chair initially and go to straighten out my legs, since they've been bent all day, it triggers a muscle spasm. And just because you're stretching out your legs, and then the muscles, and muscle spasms are like a side effect of spinal cord injury. So you'll notice that too. Okay. You see a lot of guys in chairs, their legs start shaking like that. You know what I mean? Like, and so they got to calm it down. I mean, I take medication. I take medication for that every day because, yeah, they can get bad. Some people have worse than others, but yeah, it's just a muscle spasm. I mean, in a way, it's a good thing because it helps keep the muscle tone because the muscle's contracting, when it's spasming.
Right.
So it's good for the circulation. You know what I mean? As much as it's annoying, you know what I mean? And it can cause you to fall out of your chair too, because some spasms are that bad. Like for me, like my abdominals will spasm. So they'll like squeeze together and it'll bend me over, because it's like you do a sit up, your abs, you squeeze your abs. Well, that's what happens to me. It's just like, but it's not voluntarily. It's like someone just jolts you with with two cables, and it just, triggers that muscle to spasm, and it'll throw you forward or sideways like that. Yeah, it's crazy, So, but that's a typical thing, for guys like paralyzed people. You know what I mean? That from paralysis.
I know when I'm sitting down for a long period of time, I have to get up and stretch. I have to get up and move around.
Yeah.
If I'm driving, about every 2 hours, I got to get out of the car and just, even if I don't have to go to the bathroom, I just get up and move and stretch a little bit.
Right.
Being perpetually in a sitting position, do you tell yourself, I got to get up?
Yeah, but you kind of feel it too. Like I said, even though I don't have feeling, like it does, you feel like the tightness, like in your joints or whatever, like the surface of my leg, like scratching, I can't feel it, but like deep inside, like if you have an ache, like I could still have an ache, especially when it gets cold out, like my knees will start to ache. And if I touch them with my hands, they're like ice cold. So I'm like, well, of course, yeah, my freaking knees are like ice, that's something like that. You'll feel that type of, you don't feel the touch, but deep inside, you feel like you need to you stretch. And then, yeah, like I do. So if I do get out and I stretch my legs out and they spasm, they'll lock out, my legs will lock out, and you'll see my muscles like just quivering because they're squeezing or contracting. But inside it's like a good feeling. Like, how you feel when you stretch, you're like, it's a good stretch like that when you wake up or something. Well, I get that same kind of relief, because I can feel it deep inside. It's almost like, oh yeah, that does feel good to stretch my legs, but you just can't feel it to the touch. So it's hard to understand and grasp that. But like, all I can say is there is some kind of relief. Your body does feel like, you can feel that stretch. You know what I mean? So, but other times, like, yeah, you want to make sure you get off your ass every so often so you don't get any pressure sores or anything like that. That's one thing in rehab that they drill into your head every 30 minutes. You better lift yourself up like that, to take the, your ass totally off the seat so you can get some circulation. And, but now that the cushions they have these days, they're like so good quality that it equalizes your pressure. Like, I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't really do, you call them weight shifts, but I'm pretty much like, but with the cushion I'm on, like I never have problems. You know what I mean? So thank God for that. But yeah, you should do that. And, because that's a big thing. A lot of guys, they end up back in the hospital after they get released because they don't take care of themselves. They don't watch themselves. Like, so they'll develop a sore and not realize it till by the time it gets that bad. And the next thing you know, they're in the hospital because you can't sit on it anymore. And it's broken down to where it gets infected. And now you got an infected wound like on your tailbone or somewhere on your butt. And they put you on a prone cart. So now you're on your belly 24/7 until your butt heals up. So like that's what you don't want to happen. But that's the things that you got to be careful of, like you can't feel back there. So you don't know if you got a sore because you can't feel if it hurts. So you literally got to like take a mirror and check yourself daily, on your backside to make sure, like, especially me in the gym transferring in and out of the chair. Like if I catch the edge of the bench or something, I could like bruise my butt or something or scuff it, and that can cause skin breakdown that easy, so you got to be careful. And so that's why they tell you make sure you check yourself often, because I've seen too many guys, they end up back in the hospital with like a hole in their butt, like their tailbone that goes deep, and you're like, oh my God, and they have to get like a skin graft over there, and it's like a huge thing, man. It's something that you don't ever want to go through. So like, yeah, you make sure you take care of yourself. But
now,
that stuff is important.
Do you have an adjustable bed or a regular bed?
Yeah, regular bed. So it's not, I don't have a problem with it, but other guys do, depending on your injury. So some guys need that handle up there, like you have in a hospital bed. At first I did need that, you know what I mean? Because you're not strong enough, or I couldn't reach behind me, you just, that stability is not there, you know what I mean? So, and even sometimes like these days, I'm like, man, I wish I had that handle, because in the morning I'm like, oh, I gotta get up, right?
Yeah.
It makes it that much harder to get up. So, but for the most part, I got a regular bed. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
So thank God, right? You know what I mean? But the whole thing, you just gotta go ahead.
Well, how about this? When you're with your woman, how much do you rely on her for everyday stuff?
Yeah.
Does she try to help you with things, and you're like, no, I can do it? Like, tell me about that dynamic.
I don't like to get help for anything unless I need it. You know what I mean? So no, pretty much I do my thing. You know what I mean? If I ever need it, of course she's right there. You know what I mean? But I'm the type of guy that, no, I want to be able to do it myself. You know what I mean? So like, like as far as getting up or getting this, or like I try to, like the night before when I go to bed, I prep my clothes and stuff on the bed. So when I wake up, because I get dressed in bed, you know what I mean? Because I can't, it's easier getting dressed in bed than it is in the chair. So I take my clothes out, so I have them in the morning, but sometimes, if she's there or something, I'll get in bed and I'll forget to get my clothes for the next day. So I'll just say, oh, can you get my clothes for, or whatever. But no, for the most part, no, like I like to be independent, you know what I mean? But it's nice to know that if she's there, definitely. If I need her, she's right there.
It's a good thing.
But it's great when she likes to cook. I'm not going to tell her not to cook and stuff, but she takes care of me that way. She keeps me fed. I said, that's it. That's the key thing. I said, here, you want to know my biggest thing? Just keep me fed, keep my belly full, and I'll be fine. Right? So it's that easy. Don't take much. Right?
Speaking of cooking, is your home retrofitted? Obviously, like a regular size counter for you it would not be functional.
It could be a lot easier than it is right now, but it works. And I don't feel like, spending all the money or whatever. It works. You know what I mean? But it could be easier. You know what I mean? Like, I got to be sideways, at the stove. I'm sideways cooking, because I can't roll straight in. And the same thing, like the sink, I could have the sink made so that, there's room underneath so I can roll up to it. Like my bathroom is like that. I can roll up to the sink and all that and under the counter. But the kitchen, no, you got the cabinets down there, so they get in my way. And I just never did anything with it because I'm like, it works. You know what I mean? I can manage. It's not that big a deal. But it could be easier, and then when she's here, I don't have to worry about, doing dishes or whatever. She'll do that stuff. And I feel bad too, because I'm like, because she does it automatically, but I'm like, you don't have to do all that. Like, as soon as she comes over, she wants to start cleaning and doing. I'm like, that's great, but I'm like, you don't have to do that. I'll do it. But that's what's great. That's what's great about the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, no, she wants to do it, and there's not too many women like that these days. Not saying they're not out there. Plenty good women out there, but
you could say that. It's all right.
But you're right, though.
I had to go to Wisconsin. I had to find one.
Very true.
I had to go to Wisconsin to find one. You know, I lived around here my whole life, and I ended up with the girl from Wisconsin.
There you
So,
That's funny.
yeah, small town girl. You know, they know how to
Yeah.
take care of their men. You know,
There you go.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, I know, but it's a good thing. Yeah. But no, honestly, like, yeah, I don't want to feel, I like to feel independent, you know?
Yeah.
So as I get older, you know, I try not to think about it, but you know what I mean? I mean, it's inevitable, but the great thing is, whatever it is, she's cool, you know? Whatever it is, I don't have to worry about it. You know, like, oh no, I'm going to get older and then she's not going to want to be with me anymore. But no, man, we're past that. You know,
There you go.
this is what it is. She knows how it is, you know, and it's all good. You know what I mean? Like, you can't ask for anything more, right? You know, anything
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
So it's good, right?
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that being a pro bodybuilder, as you get older, do you think being a pro bodybuilder is going to help the situation if, let's say, that there's not a miraculous healing, let's say there's not
Right.
a technology that gets found, do you think that your upper body strength works in your favor as you're getting
Absolutely.
older? Because I can imagine, you know, if the average man who doesn't lift, well, think
Right.
about it. The average man just doesn't have the strength, period. You know, you have the strength. Do you feel that that works in your favor?
Absolutely. You know, just for example, like getting in and out of the car, you know, you got to lift your body up, you know, high enough so you're not scraping your butt every time, you know, and potentially causing like skin breakdown. But it's just, as I'm saying, I'm stronger that, oh yeah, it's no problem for me to lift my body up. But like after I'm done working out and my muscles are that fatigued, it's funny when I go to get in my car, I'm like, oh, like you can, you know, it's that much harder getting in and out of the car because your muscles are just that much fatigued. So that's how it would be all the time. You know, if you didn't have the strength, you'd be struggling just getting in and out of the car, especially if you put on weight. You start putting on
Right.
weight, then you got to lift that weight up. And if you don't have the muscle to do it, but again, that's potentially going to cause other issues. You know what I mean? Constantly scraping your butt every time you get in and out of your chair. And that's going to break your skin down and just lead to all kinds of problems. You know, so all in all, like, yeah, bodybuilding's great, but you got to know your limits though, too, you know, because you get caught up in the whole thing and you just want to lift heavy weight. And next thing you know, you blow your shoulder out or something like that. And you get surgery.
Last time. That's what you were
Well,
telling me.
and then, like I said, I had my rotator cuff done on my right arm, my right shoulder, the left shoulder. I had bone spurs I had to get shaved out. Not necessarily was from bodybuilding, but just 20 some years in the chair, and you're using your shoulders more than anything, and getting in and out of your car, and lifting up your chair. My one arm was, my right arm was always the one doing most of the work every time, lifting the chair in and out of the car. Well, 20 years, man, that shit, that catches up to you. You know what I mean? And but training is actually what helped though. In that case, like I was better off working out than not working out, because it allowed me to, first off, I was in better shape. So after the surgery, my body healed that much quicker. And, my doctor was like shocked. He's like, dude, you're good. Like he saw my progress and how quick I healed and was able to start moving my arm again and lifting it up. Because rotator cuff surgery, I don't know if you guys if you know about it, but like your arm's done. Like for 2 weeks, you can't even move it just to let it recover. And then once you start therapy, like you can't even lift up like 2 inches. It feels like it weighs 100 pounds, your arm. I mean, and so now I'm already paralyzed in the chair. My arms are my legs. So now I'm down to one good arm and the other one, I can't move at all. So what do? So I had to plan because I knew after surgery, this is how it was going to be. For 2 weeks, you can't move your arm. It's in a sling. It has to be that way to heal before you can even start therapy. Well, I can't even do my daily life with just one arm. How am I going to move in the chair, transfer the chair? I mean, think about it. One arm, and that's it. How am I going to get dressed, do my whole routine? So I had to go back to like rehab for like 3 weeks just for my daily needs, not even for therapy, So like they made special accommodations there because like anybody who had a rotator cuff, there's no need for them to go to like a rehab, especially the one McGee for spinal cord injuries. But with my injury already, I didn't want to just go any place that they didn't know. They're not familiar with people's spinal cord injuries and something end up happening or whatever. So, I just had to work with the insurance company and explain my situation so they can approve me to go to McGee, which is where I went initially. So thank God, like just something like that. Again, there's a problem, got it fixed, went to McGee. I was able to go to McGee, so lived there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And, so like, it's just, there's an answer to another problem. It's just like, thank you, God, just for making this, everything just, I have everything at my disposal. Right. So,
I was going to say something. I know, like on leg day, there are times when I've gotten done on leg day and my legs are quivering, and it's hard for me to walk out of the gym to the car.
Yeah.
So that's like what it's like with my arms, almost. Yeah. So when you said your arms are your legs after a workout of your arms.
Yeah. It's like I'm having a hard time getting in and out of the chair, in and out of the car, like especially just trying to get off the bench after we get done like killing, I don't know, triceps or something. And I go to try to lift up because that's all triceps there when I go to lift up out of the, off the bench and back into the chair. And there's like nothing left. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be able to do this. I need a little spot over here just to get out of the freaking off the bench. But yeah, no, it's the same thing, man. If we do arms, bis and tries, we just kill it. So by the time we're done, man, it's just like, I can't even move. Somebody's got to push me. Right. So, but yeah, that's how it is, man.
Here's a question for you. We're going to switch gears for a second.
Yeah.
Now, you work with a coach. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
How important is it to work with a coach? Now, you are a professional bodybuilder. Most people, I'm just trying to think of the people in the audience right now. You are a professional bodybuilder. You have a lot of knowledge about what makes your body work, what makes your body grow.
Yeah.
You're a professional, yet you yourself have a coach.
Yeah.
Tell me about that coaching relationship.
Yeah, a lot of it is like, my coach, for the most part, it's always more nutrition related. You know what I mean? I have a coach for my diet more than anything. Yeah, he's a trainer, coach, but like I know what I need to do to train. I've been doing it long enough. I just physically need someone to hand me weights, spot me, stuff like that. I don't really need someone to tell me, okay, here, let's do this, and this. Us, you know what I mean? I know the exercise we need to do, but hey, it's always good to switch it up. Hey, let's try this, try that. But for the most part, to coach, you need another set of eyes on you. You look at yourself every day in the mirror, so you don't see the changes when you see yourself every day.
It's true.
But when you do like a weekly check-in with your coach, or especially if you don't see him every day, you know what I mean? And you send progress pictures, he looks at your pictures from week to week and he can see the changes in your body that I don't see. Cause I've been doing this long enough, but still, I know what I need to do for a show. Like I can look good enough for a show. I know what I need to do, but it does help that much more when you got another set of eyes on you and someone who like knows nutrition better than me. Like as long as I do it, like still don't know. I know the basics, but I know what works for me. But like somebody always knows more, and it might be something new that I didn't try before that helped me improve my physique that I didn't do before. So that's why pretty much I'll have a coach is to compete. But for the most part, like I know what I need to do, to train and stuff like that. And half the time, like when I do work with somebody, if it's somebody new, I got to show them, how it works, how we train and what I do. But it's just good to have them, it's just another positive, somebody else positive, somebody pushing you, because that for me, that's a big part. Like I need someone, it helps when I got somebody in my face pushing me to do like 1 more rep, 2 more reps. Otherwise, you're not going to get that. But like, when you have that somebody, it gives you that much more, that shot of adrenaline you need to push out like 2 or 3 more reps, stuff like that. And it also helps, keep me consistent, like accountable. You got like somebody who you got to check in with. So it keeps you accountable on your diet. You know what I mean? So you're not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to go have some pizza. I'm going to go grab a cheesesteak or something like that. And you're like, nah, I got to check in this, I got to do check-ins or whatever, so it helps keep you accountable. Right. Especially when you're going to compete. And for the most part, yeah. If you're going to compete, even though you're pro, like most of the pros, they all have, coaches or whatever they want to call them. But a lot of them, because when it comes to yourself, like you said, it's hard to coach yourself. It's just always better to have another set of eyes on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's the key, Johnny, when you said having another set of eyes on you, because we seem blind to we are blind to our own deficiencies. Whereas a coach, number one, you've granted a coach permission to judge you.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Like
and he's going to tell you, and I'll say, don't lie to me. Don't tell me if I look like crap or I'm not ready to get on stage, you better tell me. You know what I mean? And that's what he said too. He's like, I'm going to tell you straight up.
Opinion. It's good to have like an outside.
Well, yeah, because everybody's
going to be upfront with you. Somebody's going to be honest with you. Somebody's going to hold you accountable. That's priceless in any field.
But everybody in the gym is going to tell you look great, and all that stuff. But when it's competition mode, you're like, yeah, no, I got a lot of work to do. But yeah, everyday people, oh yeah, you look great. But when you're in competition, dude, that's the next level. So yeah, I know I look good, but not stage good. You know what I mean? Not if you're going to be on stage. That's a whole nother level. So that's what it does. It does take someone who is professional, who's been there, you know what I mean, and knows what it takes.
I think that's interesting that you just said something, and a lot of people, I'm sure people in the audience might have caught this as well. There's looking good, and then there's stage good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the difference between looking good and stage good?
Yeah. When you look shrink wrapped, where it's just like a thin layer of skin over your muscle, and there's no layer of fat or anything. So you see every detail, every muscle fiber. When you squeeze the muscle and you watch like the muscle fibers, move like that. That's the difference. Anybody can look good. You're like nice and full and round, but when you're hard and ripped and just, grainy looking is the key term guys like to use. You got that grainy look on your skin, because it's nothing but there's no layer of fat, it's just straight skin. You're like that lean, it's all muscle, and you can see all the little fibers triggering when you squeeze the muscle, and everything's just that much more sharp. That's pretty much the difference. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Does Johnny Quinn have a singular competitive advantage? Is there something that other competitors say, oh shit, Johnny's in Johnny's in this competition this year? Like, are you like the shoulder guy? Are you the arm guy?
It's always, I always got good arms, and my chest is probably my best muscle, because my chest does get that real grainy and vascular, and it's like when you go to flex and squeeze it, you just watch all the muscle fibers. At least I know for me, it's my most muscular front shot. That's always like my best shot, because it shows my shoulders nice and big and round, and the chest is nice and full. And just vascular. Oh, you know what it is? It's more my my vascularity. It's funny because a couple of the competitors, especially my man Ludo, he's the old guy. He's older than me. I call him the old man, but he retired. But when I first started competing, he was like the champ. Him and this other guy, Victor, were like the two top guys, and nobody could ever beat him. And we developed a great friendship over the years, and then he took off for a couple of years, but then he did come back, and that's just great. We developed a great friendship, but he would always call me Johnny Veins, because I would be that vascular when it came time for the show. I wasn't always the biggest guy, but I could probably always be the most vascular guy. And it's it's like a sick look, but it's good.
It's interesting. I was teaching my audience probably 2 months ago about Vince Gironda, the trainer out in Venice, California. And he was the guy that when Arnold came to ask him to train him, he turns around and said to Arnold, "What do you want, you fat fuck?"
Really?
Because Arnold was very puffy at that time.
Oh, yeah.
And So Gironda actually, helped him kind of get cut a little bit and put him on the liver tablets and that whole thing. But Gironda, he was a guy that said that the old school bodybuilders would build a chest and not just pecs. And you have that whole you have that thing from shoulder to shoulder, where Vince Gironda says that your chest should be like a slab, as opposed to like just two breasts.
Two round, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I never heard that, but like, you develop a shelf. That's the other thing I always look for too. When you start to develop that shelf there,
a shelf
it's full, and you can see that right like that. It's like you can rest something right on there. That's when like, and it's amazing. Like when you're competing, man, it's like it gets frustrating because like you feel like you're not seeing any changes, but like when like you get like that close, like 3 weeks out, 2 weeks out, then you just really it's like night and day. The next day you're like, oh my god, like the veins are bulge, you're bulging, the veins or your vascular crazy, and you just, like I said, it just that as you get that close to those last couple days, and then when you get down there, it's amazing to watch the transformation that your body that you can do with your body. And but it always seems like that those last 2 weeks is when you start to see those final things like come, and you're like, oh, that's what I was waiting for, that there it is, that I'm ready now. And then you're ready, you're like, there it is, because every year, as soon as I start to see this or this coming in, I know I'm ready. And so you just try to learn year to year. That's how because it is like, it's not a cookie cutter diet for everybody, just because it works for this guy, it's not going to work for you. So
right.
But you got to start somewhere, and you can realize like, all right, well, last year, what'd you do? We did this, we ate this, for the last week coming up to the show, this is what we did. We cut carbs or, carb depleted, and that didn't work for us. We came in flat. So, not to do that next time. And it's a timing thing too. If you do it too soon or too late, because bodybuilding, it's one day, man. You got one day that you got to time it so you look your absolute best on that day. So that's another reason why you need to have a coach. You need to have somebody who's looking at you like that. And as it comes closer to the show, every day he's looking at you and fine tuning you. And I just know I don't know. I can't do that myself, Plus I feel better too if somebody else is telling me, like, if I think I look great, yeah, that's great, but I need to hear that from him too. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You don't want to have your coach
great,
saying, what do you want, you fat fuck?
Yeah, exactly. That's too funny. I never heard that.
Here's 2 questions for you. What is the key? What is the golden nugget that you want to share with the audience about training? And what is the golden nugget that you'll share with the audience about nutrition?
So training, well, it's kind of the same for both. You can kind of say the same for both, but it's consistency, man. Consistency probably be the number one on my list. You got to get your butt into the gym, and you got to keep it consistent. You can't be missing days here and there. Oh yeah, I'm not going to make it today. No, man, because I've been there, and not on purpose, but just like life, just got in the way. I'd work and stuff the one year. It was just things were happening, crazy busy. I couldn't stay on my training schedule. And then I noticed like, yeah, I'm not my best, I didn't get my training in every week and whatnot. So consistency, same thing with diet, consistent, and you just got to have willpower and just keep it clean. It's easy to cheat and just like pick here and there. You think, oh yeah, I'm just going to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But I'm telling you, that stuff all adds up, man. If you actually, that's one of the first things I was taught is keep track of everything you put in your mouth during the day. You write down every time you put something in your mouth. I don't care if it's an M&M or, a piece of this or a piece of that. You just think no big deal, or a couple of Doritos or whatever. And you just write that down at the end of the day, and you realize like, I eat like shit,
Yeah.
And it might be a little bit, but over time it all adds up. Right. So it's just consistency, and you just need a plan. You need a plan of action. Can't just wing it. I've done that before too. I'll just wing it, but no, you got to have a plan. You got to have your schedule down. All right. 12 weeks out is usually like where the typical contest prep will start. 16, 12 weeks out, depending on how you're looking. That way you're timing it from that far out that you'll be in your shape for that day, but that's what it takes, man. You got to have your schedule. You got to have your diet and all that. You're like, yeah, so after 4 weeks of doing this, then we're going to switch it up and do a little bit of this, less carbs, more fats on this day. Cardio on and off, carb cycling people do. It's like a couple high day carbs, a couple low day carbs, but it's just, it's a daily thing. That's why you have somebody looking at you like, yeah, all right, maybe we better cut back on the carbs today. You're looking you're looking a little bit not good here or there, but that's what that's how you got to be. You can't just swing it and just think, oh, I'm eating good, I'm getting enough of this. But no, you gotta keep track, man. You gotta the macros, like keeping track of carbs, protein, carbs, fats is pretty much the three main you need to keep track of. And then of course your water intake, you got to be drink. And the hardest part is people think I don't eat, but I eat more than they do. You know what I mean? It's just you eat good. It's that much harder to get the calories you need and the nutrients by eating good. Like, I could pack on 2,000 calories if I eat a Big Mac or something, but if you want to get 2,000 clean calories, you know what I mean? You're going to eat like a 5-ounce chicken breast, a big baked potato or a sweet potato and veggies. That's a lot more food than, one little burger or whatever can be 2,000 calories or freaking French fries. So but like consistency, and you got to have a plan of action. That's the only way you're going to succeed, because that way you have it written down what you did this year and how you looked. So for the next show, you can see and make modifications where you need to, so you can make the improvements where you need to. And that's why I think, it is important, to have a coach, because I can't do that stuff. I don't know. I mean, even as long as I've been doing it, I still just, tell me what I need to eat. I'll just do the training. You just look at me, tell me how I'm looking. I'll do the work. Just kind of tell me what I need to do, what I need to eat. It makes my life easier. But yeah, for the most part. But no, you just got to do it. You got to get it in, keep it consistent, and just train hard. Just you're there to work. You're there at the gym to work, not socialize. So it's like, get in, do your workout, and get out and be done.
When do you work out in the morning or after work?
At night, yeah. The only time I do mornings is on the weekend. You know what I mean? But during the week, I don't have time to go to the gym in the morning and then work. It's just, for me, it's too hard. Not too hard, but it doesn't work well. So I just train after work. And I'm tired, but once you get into the gym, then you get a second wind, right? And then so that's what's been working for me. Like, on the nights during the week, and then on the weekends I go in the mornings. I do enjoy the mornings. Sometimes I feel like I get a better workout. I'm more, I'm fresh, I'm awake. But for me, yeah. But if I could, I guess, I'd prefer to train in the morning, I think, But you got to do what you got to do. I mean, you got a life. You know what I mean? Like I said, bodybuilding. Yeah, I'm a professional bodybuilder, but you still gotta make a living. Bodybuilding doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately, unless you're Mr. Olympia. But even still, those guys, compared to what like football players and stuff make, bodybuilders don't make anything close to that.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, but it's just a totally different. I don't know why it is, but it is what it is.
What about when you go to Florida? What is going to be your criteria for a gym? I mean, you're not just going to go to the closest.
I'm already Googling gyms in this, zip code or whatever where we are, and there's like a LA Fitness close by. But like, see, I mean, it'll work if it has to work. I make it work. You know what I mean? They got the equipment. It's just the atmosphere is a big thing for me too. They might have great equipment there, but like, like an atmosphere at like LA Fitness, there's not really too many serious bodybuilders there. A lot of people like to socialize, and you're waiting for equipment because sometimes it's so freaking busy there. And some guys like to sit on the equipment, hey, how many sets you got left? You're sitting there texting on your phone in between sets and stuff. I'm trying to get a workout here. So that's kind of why I don't like that. You know what I mean? I'd like to find a smaller private gym, not like one of the franchises. They're usually the best gyms to go to. They might not have all the equipment, but I mean, honestly, I learned over the years, you don't need all this equipment, man. Just keep it the basic movements. Just train hard. You know what I mean? Push yourself. You don't need all this machine. Yeah, but it does this and that. Just give me some dumbbells and a weight bench.
Let me ask you this. Let's say you're on a bench, and are you on that bench for the duration of all the sets?
Yeah. So for me, like the whole superset deal, like, guys go from equipment to equipment, one after another. I can't do that for one, or at least that quick to where it actually works as a quote unquote superset. So I try to structure my workout to where I don't have I have to transfer as least as possible. You know what I mean? So if we get in the bench here to do like shoulders, I'm going to try to do as many exercises I can right here, like side laterals, fronts, and presses. So I'm in the bench the whole time, or the chair. I'm not moving. So we're doing, let's just say I do 4 sets of each, so I'm in that chair doing shoulders. So I don't have to move for, I can do like 3 different exercises, all doing that, sitting in the same plat. And then it just makes the workout better, that much easier. And then, of course, the less time, just transferring on and off the machine, this and that. I like to try to keep my workout like keep your heart rate up, so like the better, the more less transferring we have to do, and the more exercises we could do without having to stop to train. All right, so we're done this workout, so now we're going to go over to that machine. So the time it takes to go over there, transferring it out, your heartbeat's resting again, and things like that. But when you do as much as I can from one position, it's more beneficial, in those ways, time wise, and keeping your heart rate up and without having to, that couple minute break it takes from going to this machine, rolling over to the other end of the gym, getting on that machine. By the time you get strapped in, you know what I mean? Just like you're cooled down already. So try to do as many as like supersets and stuff as I can. And again, it's depending on what kind of what your goals are for training. Like if getting ready for shows, we're doing a lot of supersetting, a lot more higher reps. Whereas in the off season, I'm trying to work on strength and just, build muscle. So I'm just trying to push heavier weight and, doing more heavy weight and less reps, things like that. So all that stuff makes a difference.
When you are on a bench, you strap yourself to that bench. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep. I put one around my waist and one around my legs. So that way it keeps my legs strapped in there nice and tight. So that it's not like flopping.
Are your legs like straight out on the bench?
No, keep them bent. You just keep them bent. You know what I mean? Just like you're sitting there and I just lay back. So they stay bent and I just tie them tight against the bench. So they stay in like there, like this, and not just,
okay.
Because, my knees would flop out like that if I don't put anything on them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So then
I wouldn't think that.
Right. And when you're trying to, if I'm trying to press weight over my head.
Either.
What's that?
I'm the same way as George too. I wouldn't think that either. Yeah, that is interesting.
So that's the huge thing there. Like, and that's what I'm saying. It's so important to be strapped in. The more secure you are, the more stable you are. So the better lift you're going to get, and without injuring yourself. Because if you're a little bit loose and you start tilting that way or something, and then the weight, whatever the weight, you drop the weight down or whatever, you know what I mean? It's going to cause you to lose your muscle or whatever, so that's what you got to be careful of. I mean, that'll really, but for me, like I said, sometimes I have 3 belts: legs, waist, and even one up higher here on more of my chest, but then that gets in the way from me from arching my chest up to use it. So it's kind of like, sometimes it's working against you, but you just got to try and work through it. You know what I mean? But that's the most important thing, is being secure on that piece of equipment or whatever.
Here's a great question. Terry Cox asks, is the love of his life into exercise and weight training too? And do you exercise together?
So guess what? Not at all. Right? Not at all. My whole life, or since I got into bodybuilding, I've never really dated other competitors. I've tried, of course I've tried, there's a lot of attractive women, but it was just like, I've always found myself in a relationship with someone outside the gym. It's weird. Who's not in the, I mean, no, she's so supportive of me and all that, but like, she has no ambition to work out. She doesn't care. And, she doesn't have to, you know what I mean? She looks great the way she is. She doesn't have to work out. And that's the funny thing. Like, she doesn't do anything. She looks great. I'm like, good lucky you, she'll eat whatever she wants. And like, she could eat tons of, and again, she's from Wisconsin. So she's a cheesehead. She loves her cheese.
A cheesehead.
Like, if I ate as much cheese as she did, I don't know, man, I'd be But on her, so hey, it's all good, whatever, you know. But I think that's probably why it works too. That's a big part, because you know you got to have someone else, like opposites attract. So you got to have someone else to keep you, you know, grounded on the other end. Like especially bodybuilding, competing, man, getting ready for a show, man. It gets intense. You know, you need to like have someone there to like calm you down, bring you down the level. You know, after you get done training or whatever, and be normal, because bodybuilding is just not a normal life. You know, you're constantly on your diet and you're taking your meals with you for the day if you go out, and you know people think you're crazy, but like, yeah, sometimes you just want to get away from that. Like I just want to go home and, you know, be normal and, you know, not talk about the gym or working out or whatever. And I think that's a huge part. But like, no, but she loves to see me on stage, and I just love to hear when she talks, you know, and it's just great to see that, you know, she appreciates it. And however,
I love the fact that how you said opposites attract, because that brought up another question for me. And well, first of all, Terry, that was a great question. Thank you for that question.
yeah. But you would think though, like that's what I'm saying. In my mind, I figured, oh yeah, that would be the best relationship. Have another girl that competed, we could work out together and all that. But like, it's not how it is. You know, like I see some people. There's couples that do all that together, but I think that's good for them. But I don't know. For me, I guess it just doesn't. You know, it is what it is.
Did you ever look at other? Did you ever look at women in wheelchairs and say this is what I have available to me, or do you don't look at the wheelchair as a hindrance, and like, you know, you got game. I mean, game. Johnny Quinn.
Johnny's good.
Game recognizes game, brother. Okay.
There you go.
Right.
All right. So I don't. I'm never going to be doing this like poor ladies. Johnny Quinn thing.
I said I'm off the market now.
Well, all right. So you're off the market, but when you were in the market, were you just like, "What's up? What's up, girl?" Like with,
I mean, I don't know.
With women,
I don't know. I never really had a problem talking to people. You know, like, I'm pretty comfortable, you know, in my own skin, and I think bodybuilding gave me a little bit more confidence, though. You know, once I started getting in shape, and I think just after everything that happened in the wheelchair, and I was able to, you know, overcome it and get back to normal life. You know what I mean? Like I could do this. Yeah, no big deal, right? So I felt good about myself, and like, yeah, I had confidence. So I feel like I do have something to offer, you know, to a woman. You know what I mean? I'm not. I feel like I don't consider myself disabled. I can do it. You know what I mean? I can still take care of a woman. I know. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't consider you disabled, which is weird. I don't think like it doesn't register in my head.
Yeah,
that you're disabled. And that the rest of the world has that label for you, but it doesn't compute with me.
Yeah, I second that.
Right, you know. So, but here's the funny thing, though, is it is the total opposite than I thought it was going to be. Like when I first had my accident, and I felt like, oh, life's over, and then like no other girl's going to want to look at me. You know, I'm in a freaking wheelchair. I'm never going to have a girl. You know, stuff like that. So, but once I started getting back to life and going back out, you know, with my buddies and stuff, and going out to the bars again. Here's the funny thing was, I was always, out of me and my buddies, you know, there'll be like three of us, you know, we go out or whatever. I'm always the one where the girl comes up and starts talking to me, and they want to know my story. Oh, what happened to you? And, you know, so I start laying it on, right? But seriously, like the wheelchair would attract more women to me. Like I would go, before my accident, yeah, I would never get like hit on at the bar, hardly, you know,
right.
I realized like now that I'm in the chair, I swear to God, every time we would go out, because they would say like, dude, what the every time we go out, you got freaking women coming up to you, sitting on your lap, because they would sit on my lap, you know, because they probably have a couple drinks in them and whatever, you know. Oh, you're too cute to be in a wheelchair, or, you know, something like that. And I'll just eat it up, right? So, and those guys would just look at me and shake their head. And I'm like, so, but that's the funny thing was like, I mean, how crazy is that? That like, it's the total opposite. Like the wheelchair kind of just, it drew attention to me, and that where I was just another guy in the bar before or whatever, you know what I mean? And it would just have women, like it was the opposite of what I thought, because I figured women wouldn't find me attractive, and someone, like, not that I'm saying women are all shallow, but there's a lot of shallow women like that, you know what I mean? Like, but I found the majority, though, it would surprise me, ladies. Most of the ladies out there are genuine, and, you know, the wheelchair, you know, they don't see the wheelchair, it doesn't bother them, you know, they're not superficial like that or anything. So, like, I was surprised because, yeah, I found more women to be genuine like that. And, you know, you tell them your story or whatever, this is how it is, and, you know, they're cool, you know, they're cool with it. It's not like a turn off or whatever. So, yeah, it's the opposite of what I thought it would be, you know? So, yeah, it gave me more confidence that, yeah, I felt like I had a better shot than the other guy. You know, sometimes I felt like I'd have a better chance than that guy or whatever, you know, of picking up some girl. But
I know a guy that is deaf, and he reads lips, and you know, he had it kind of rough when he was younger, but now he's formidable. He's a giant and well built and a fighter and the whole bit. And he said to me once, "I don't do pity." He says, "I do compassion, but I don't do pity."
yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I don't want people to feel sorry for me, because especially people say, you know, they'll ask me like, "Oh, what happened? You know, why are you in a chair?" And I'll be like, "Oh man, I had a motorcycle accident and I almost lost my life." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Or no, you know what? People see me. It's the people that don't see me, or I'm on the phone, and I'll share my story. Just like I said, with the insurance business, I'll go tell them about my story, what happened. And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." You know, like, "Oh my God, it's gotta be terrible." And I'm like, "No, don't be sorry, dude. No, my life's good. You know, don't apologize. You know, my life's good. I'm happy, you know?" So, but they just automatically have that thought that, like, "Oh my God, you're in a wheelchair now. Oh my God, that's terrible." But it's so funny because I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not sorry. It's all good." I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If I had the opportunity to be out of the chair, yeah, see you later, bye. But like, nah, dude, it's all good. Life's good. You know what I mean? It could be so much worse. I'm probably enjoying my life more than you are, you know, not you, but whoever on the phone, you know, because you're calling me up all mad and because your insurance is so expensive and you're yelling at me for it or something like that, whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, nah, it's all good. So, but yeah, I don't want the pity party, you know, or if I'm getting out of my car and, "Oh, can I help you with that? Are you sure?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good. Trust me. You're just going to get in the way and make it more complicated. Just, I'm good. I got it." You know? But the funniest is and you know, it's normally the older people, like an old man who's like walking in a walker. "Hey, can I help you, Sonny?" or whatever. And I'm like, I should be asking you if I can help you. You know what I mean? But like, hey, it's great. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. You know, like, hey, I really appreciate, you know, you offering. But I think it's funny. I'm like, you know, but that's it. You know, genuine guy. You know, he wants to help, and I'm like, I don't really think he could help me, but yeah, you know, I appreciate it. You know.
There you go.
I mean,
Interesting.
I don't look at that as like pity. You know, like, it's people are just trying to be nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At some, I guess maybe in the beginning I would get a little bit like, "No, I'm all right. You know, I'm okay. I could do it myself," because you want to be Mr. Independent after, you know, because you're still mad about the whole accident and you're freaking paralyzed now. So somebody just wants to help you, like, "No, I got it," or whatever. Like, because I could act like that, you know. I try to, you know, that's my old self, you know. But no, I just appreciate it. Like, "No, I'm okay. I got it." But I really appreciate that, you know, because I appreciate it. It's just great to see he's really genuine, really wants to help me, and he's using a freaking walker to walk, you know. But there's still some good people out there, I guess, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'll take it. Like, I don't want the help, but like, yeah, I do appreciate it, you know. But hey, if I need it, like if I do fall out on my chair on the ground, if somebody's there to help me, yeah, yo, can you give me a hand? Because I can do it, but it would be so much easier if you could help me up. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ashamed to do that or ask for that. I mean,
Yeah.
But no, for the most part, no, I don't want a pity party, you know, because like, hey, life's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Well,
So
it's interesting. Now we're just kind of getting into like the juicy stuff, and
good stuff.
it's
I
kind of
know,
interesting. After
That's
all
what
the
I'm saying, like,
politeness, for like the first hour, now we're just getting into like the real meat of what's going on.
and
But
like, I mean, that's me. Like, I'll tell you anything. I'm not ashamed to tell you. Like, this is the way it is. This is how I got to live, or whatever. I mean, at first maybe I would, but like, it is what it is. You want to know, this is what my life. This is what I got to deal with every day. This is what I do. And
That's pretty.
I still smile. I could still wake up and smile, and I could choose not to, though. It's a decision. It's a choice you make. And like, it's very easy for me to be freaking negative and hateful, but it's it's a mindset, and you just gotta you got to make up your mind. You got to control. You have control. It's just you got to learn how to control it. But that's all it is a mindset, man. But it's, if you do get stuck in that rut, it's hard to get out of. So it's just like, you try not to let yourself get stuck in that rut of just being down and depressed or whatever. Because then it can be, you can turn into Mr. Negative and all that. But I guess it's almost like once you start it, you know what I mean? It just keeps going. It's that much easier. It's easier you get in that frame of mind, and you try to keep that frame of mind. Like for me, it's just like when you spend time with the Lord, like you get to know the word. So like when, you do face certain situations, you can go right to the scripture and be like, yeah, you know what, Lord, you said this, or this, I can do all things through Christ. And you remind yourself like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'm going to get through this, but like, you got to develop that mindset. It doesn't happen overnight. So that's why, like, yeah, like this is 22 years down the road from when I had my accident, man. That's a long time. Like, I've been through so much stuff. I can be that now. Like, I can look at this situation where like, shit, like, what are we going to do now? I'm done. I'm screwed or whatever. Like, nah, we'll be all right. We'll get through it somehow. We'll make it through. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so like Renee, my girl, she's, now that we got the house, oh my God, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? Just calm down. We'll make it happen. You know what I mean? But see, like, I can say that where she's totally, no, it's not as easy for her to do that. She's worried and stressing, and I'm like, I understand, but like, I don't know. I just got faith in God. Everything's coming together the way it should. It's just, it's going to work out one way or the other. You know what I mean?
You are still her rock, regardless.
There you go.
She's like, but she's the rock. I am, but at the same time, she is for me too. It's crazy, like when she's here, I feel that much better, Yeah. It's a whole different, like I feel much more better when we're together. And it's just a weird, it's a good feeling. You know what I mean? It's just one of the other things, awesome. Like, this is right, right? About time, like all my life, like it's about time things are finally start to fall into place. But it's, as I'm telling you, like right now, all this stuff's happening right now. And it's just been that long of a time. And how long have I been praying for this or that? It's just like, is this ever going to happen? And you're just like, no, I mean, I'm going to be stuck here and, I'll be living here for the rest of my life. I mean, it's pretty comfortable, but like, yeah, no, I want more. You know what I mean? I just don't want to, coast through. You know what I mean? I'm still living. Yeah. I got a second chance or even like a third chance, right? At life. So it's like, yeah, I just want to live out the rest of my days, just living like, for example, in the Florida lifestyle, relaxing in my house by my pool. You know what I mean? Nice. These days, I don't need, I'm not trying to go out to the clubs and do this and that. Hey, man, I'm just going to chill at my house. I got my girl, my dog, I'm just going to relax. I don't know. What else do you need, right?
I love it. I love it.
That's just great. I can't, this is all new for me too, like happening right now, like I said. So this is good timing for this.
Well, we look forward to your transformation in your new phase of life. Because again, right? It's like having another,
it's a whole
starting
new
life over
in my
again.
life. Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole new chapter in my life. And it's been the same for the longest time though, like my routine, my whole lifestyle has been the same for like the past 15 years, probably, like living here, same job, working out. It's been the same thing, eat, sleep, train, work, do it all over again. Right.
Yeah.
But it's been that way. I mean, it's great. Yeah, competitions and all that, but in general, it's been the same lifestyle that long. And now it's like, dude, this is going to be a whole new thing, a whole new place. You got to have to come, it's a whole new routine, and we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens.
I love it.
Whatever happens,
all right, well,
work out, so meet new people.
Let's-
You know what I'm saying? Meet new people, and you never know what's going to happen. You never know what kind of doors of opportunity you're going to open up down there. You know, so I'm excited about it.
How can
We'll see,
people
but
find out about you?
you
Where can they
guys-
see more about you? I know
I mean,
one of the
social
places they can
medias-
go is Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, like that's really the only thing I have. I used to have a website, but like I never really did anything with it. And now I lost my name. Somebody else has johnnyquinn.com now. So I don't even know what else I would do. But like with social media, it's almost like I don't think I need a website. If you want to see what's going on, you know, I post. I haven't been doing a lot lately because there's just so much stuff going on. But for the most part, yeah, man, you know, social media. And then if we really want to, you know, keep in touch more, you know, I'll give you my phone number or something. But yeah, if you want to see what's going on, yeah, definitely social media. The Mighty Quinn 21 is my Instagram, and Johnny Quinn IFBB Pro is my Facebook. So yeah, definitely check me out, hit me up, and I'm happy to answer any questions or anything like that, man. So you know, I'm open, man. You know, if if I can help you, whatever, you know, inspire you, motivate you to, you know, get your butt in gear, you know, get your shit together and going. You know, I'm happy to do it. So, you know,
That's great,
anytime
man.
you guys need me on, I'm here. Whether I'm in Florida, that's what I'm saying. With technology, it don't matter where I am. You know, it's great. Right?
It's like you're around the corner.
Exactly. That's what's great. So, I mean, this day and age, it's just, you know, we're just so blessed to have what we have. You know, but other times, like it can get away from you. You know, the whole social media thing can kind of work against you too. It's just it can mess with your head. Of course, you tend to compare yourself. You know, it looks like everybody's always having their best life, and that's all they post is, you know, and it does. Some people have trouble with that because then they feel like, oh, my life's a mess and whatnot. But you know, so it can work both ways, right? But
That's
I just
right.
try to keep it real. You know what I mean? I just try to be, you know, there's so much crap on there. If I can just be some kind of inspiration, that's all I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? But
We have to get you on Joe Rogan's show.
oh wow, yeah, Rogan's the man. I love Joe Rogan.
We have to.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be great, man.
I think I'm gonna make some. I'd like to see you on Rogan. I'd like to see you on Tim Pool.
Yeah.
I'll talk to some people and
Yeah,
see
absolutely.
what we
Oh
come
my
up
God,
with.
if you can get a hold of Joe Rogan, man, I've been following him, you know, from USC, and you know, his podcasts are just awesome, and I'm all about it. You know, I'm on the same page, man. I'm on
That's
the same
great.
page as him. Yeah, we would have
That's
a good
great.
conversation. You know,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, man, everybody out there, man, I thank you guys. If you're still sitting in here after 2 hours, you know, listening, that's great. You know, I never thought my life was like, you know, that interesting or worth sharing, but you know, it's just great that I'm able to do that now. And we got the technology to do it. So, you know, yeah, just hit me up, everybody, you know, anytime. I'm here.
That's great. That's great. Colby,
And if you're in
how
the
can
area,
people
come on
find
out
you?
to King Jim. If you're in the area,
And
come on
King
out to
Jim, that's
Jim
right.
right here. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. So people can find me on YouTube. Relevant interviews with Colby Roy. Both of these fine gentlemen have both been on my channel. Johnny's been on my channel twice. George once. I'm gonna have to even that out and get George back on again here pretty soon. But guys, be sure to check out my 3 interviews with these guys. It's well worth it. It's good TV. It's good commentary. All the above. So relevant interviews with Colby Roy and George and Johnny. Thank you for having me along tonight. Good conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you,
George.
gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Have
man.
a great night, and we will all be in touch soon.
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
All right, guys. God bless.
Good night.
Hey, George.